morning with all of you. I was off last week, in case you didn't know. And today we get to formally welcome a couple more people to this congregation as part of our new member ceremony in a few minutes. I'm truly grateful to be part of this church and to get to know each one of you through the years. The longer we're a part of each other's lives and the deeper we connect, for me, that's an indication that not only have we lasted for many seasons, but that we've had the opportunity to witness various levels of growth in and for one another. So today I'm going to talk about that, seasons and love and us. If you've been around here for a while, then you've seen me come through many stages of growth as a minister since my first sermon when I gripped the side of the lectern. You've heard me speak about various life situations as a woman, a wife, a friend, a mother, a grandmother. I've shared my life in front of you here on Sundays and in classes, study groups, and with practitioner sessions. Some of us have worked together in various capacities, both inside and outside the church. We all have a number of roles and perspectives shared in one situation or another. Through it all, we change and evolve. That's a given. Change is good. It's also a good practice to recognize how far we've come and maybe where we're headed next. Spring is a great season to honor the passage of time and the change that growth brings, especially as we head into another phase of it, one season after another. I don't know if you know how blessed we are as a church, this spiritual community, especially one this size. Yesterday, I updated the 2015 sermon calendar. Through inquiry or invitation, several guest speakers will be presenting here throughout the year, in addition to Reverend Mike and Reverend Marilyn and myself. I'm so excited that we are attracting these folks from around the country. I welcome their messages and their professionalism, and I, for one, can't wait to hear them. You will get plenty of notice as to who and when they'll be showing up. Don't worry. In the meantime, our blessings continue to expand. We have 3 religious science ministers right here in this church. Each one is able to present a Sunday sermon or manage a ministry or a church. Able to teach and create curriculum and workshops. They've done it. We're doing it. And we're so dedicated to this congregation that we do it week after week, year after year. We've taken this dedication into the world through our church website by recording the Sunday topics. We do it on audio as well as video. And then we post them each week. People from around the world, and I do get feedback, both email and phone calls from people who have seen them. They're able to get a spiritual boost and a positive message when there's no other science, mind, philosophy group or church around them. It's just a few minutes. It's all it takes sometimes to change someone's life, to uplift them to a new level. 30 minutes or less. And if you miss us Sunday morning, you can participate in that too. We get to share this philosophy and our community with people we may never meet. We may never know how science of mind has impacted their lives, changed their lives, or the way that they've specifically applied these universal principles in their lives. Now we get to witness that and hear about it the first Sunday of every month in our celebration and our miracle moments, when we share with one another how we've progressed, how we've changed, how we've applied universal principles. We do it. We do this week after week. Because it's not about us having evidence of God working in other people's lives. It's about proving it in your own life. It's about proving it time and time again, a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger, a little bit higher in consciousness. That's how faith and trust are built. That's what keeps you wanting to learn more about this philosophy, this practical spirituality, and growing in consciousness, of expanding your life and exploring new possibilities. Now, in addition to our ministerial team, right now we have 4 licensed practitioners and 5 practitioner candidates about to graduate in May. Students who will complete their studies and their tests, giving us, by the end of the year, if not before, 9 practitioners and 3 ministers in service to this congregation. I think we all deserve an applause for that. Can you imagine what that's going to look like at the end of the service when 12 people are up there at the end of the service? That's awesome. Now, a couple of these practitioners are already studying to be ministers. And a couple more are thinking about or planning it at some point. However long that takes them, we will continue to be blessed by their consciousness, their presence, their skills, their service to this congregation. All our practitioners are committed to serving in many ways. I am so grateful for their dedication and their service and their love. Our blessings continue through our music program. We have musicians and singers, real people, not recorded music or folks that just show up on occasion. Our musicians and singers take their craft seriously, and they also have fun. They too are dedicated to selecting songs every week that complement the sermon. They rehearse every week, and then they practice every Sunday morning while other volunteers are setting up the chapel. And now that the speaker schedule is pretty much done for this year, because as you might imagine, things can change, I get to start focusing on the queries I've received from musicians around the country who have offered to play at this church. The music team and I will continue to review the inquiries, and wherever it seems appropriate, we'll book musicians along the way to complement our own core, to provide a rich and varied experience to all of you, to all of us. Now, behind the scenes, we are gifted with the talents of a church assistant who works remotely, online, helping with accounting tasks, calendar updates, the website, and a growing list of other virtual assignments. The more she learns and the better she gets at her job, the more I get to delegate to her. I'm very excited about that. In fact, my schedule changed significantly enough this week that I was done with all my tasks by early yesterday afternoon, and I got to go on a movie date with my husband on a Saturday. And let's hear it for our volunteers. Again, such blessings for all of us. From helping to set up and putting away things before and after every Sunday service, we're still church in a box. To greeting each person as you walk in the door. Hi, Lisa. To making coffee at home and bringing it here so that we can benefit from it after the service. People who bring treats and desserts. There's a tray of food sitting there waiting for us. Carrie bringing her cookies every week she's here. So we have something in our stomachs after service as we enjoy fellowship with one another. Several volunteers dedicate at least one Sunday a month to teaching our children over at our classroom across the parking lot. They teach them these same universal principles through stories and craft projects and other types of hands-on games and things like that. And by setting the example, by modeling and speaking science of mind in the classroom, through contemporary authors and lessons and asking questions, always the questions. And I know it has impact on these kids. I've seen it, I've heard it, I've watched them as they start to come forward and they do service work. They help put this stuff away after church. They have their jobs and you better not mess with what they're doing. They serve this church in a number of ways, just like our board. Our board of trustees are volunteers as well, helping to lead and manage the business of the church. You all have in your programs today a sheet of paper. It's folded in half. It's a brief bio of our trustees and their phone number. If you want to share something with them or ask questions about the church business. This is a very transparent organization, and it's by design that we choose to be that way. We follow a go-direct approach to finding solutions and getting clarity on any issue before us, whether it's in a board meeting or between practitioners working out workshops or classes or schedules. Our financial status is also available to our members, as are the bylaws and the policies, which are open to review at any time. How blessed are we? How loved are we by one another, all of us, to be part of each other's lives and hearts and consciousness. Now, do we get along all the time? Of course not. There's something about our humanness that creeps in from time to time. Oh, Maggie shows up on occasion. We have our disagreements and our differences of opinion. We would sometimes prefer to do things our old way, rather than redirected in a new and different direction. There are times when we don't want to be told what to do, or how to do it, or follow procedure, or guidelines. Or we resist having any kind of oversight on church-related projects. And there are days when we don't even want to show up, but we show up anyway. And we work out our differences. We compromise, collaborate, and cooperate. We debate, and we resolve. And we do it with respect and integrity most of the time. Because we know that this too shall pass. Any season of indifference will eventually fade away. With attention, with a caring and compassionate focus, it will turn into a season of love. And that becomes a season of us. All of us together as one spiritual community. Growing, expressing, learning, connecting, sharing, and teaching others about this philosophy of new thought called science of mind. We teach through our actions, through our words, which all start with our thoughts. We teach through testing and proving the principles found not only in religious science, but in all religions. As we prove that God as law really does work according to our beliefs, our faith grows, belief grows, and deepens. We come to trust Spirit for more than just the green traffic lights and the convenient parking spaces. The ideas we choose to focus on expand. And as we trust and believe, life that we create expands as well. The only thing holding us back, any one of us, is fear. know this already too. There have probably been times when you've postponed a decision because there was an element of fear somewhere inside you. But once your faith outweighed that fear, you could move forward. You could make the decision, plan your dream, and accomplish your goal. Napoleon Hill said, "A goal is a dream with a deadline." A goal is a dream with a deadline. And Ernest Holmes taught us that fear is nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. A belief in two powers instead of one. Fear is faith misplaced. A negative use of faith. So what happens when we use faith in a positive way? I can tell you, or at least provide a couple of examples. I have watched my husband over the past year make an amazing transformation in the way he does his career. Up until a year ago, January, he had always worked in the corporate environment, gone to work, commuted, did his job, was respected in his field. And then quite unexpectedly, he got retrenched, laid off, after nearly 2 decades of working with the same group of people. Yes, it took a while, a few months in fact, of facing fears, releasing anger, and embracing lots of prayer to finally determine what path to follow. He was at a fork in the road, and whatever decision he made was going to be quite significant. And since I was a part of that, I was quite interested in what his decision was going to be. I watched him, encouraged him, prayed with him, prayed for him, and saw his fear be redirected into a new way of doing his career. He didn't have to throw it all away, just reshape it into something else, called self-employment. I witnessed this man transform into a new expression of himself, a new possibility of becoming, something he had never done before. All the capabilities and talents that have come to light and been put into practice while building his business this past year, they were already inside him the whole time. They were already there, waiting and waiting to be revealed. He has become such a role model for me of how to walk through any fear, holding someone else's hand if need be, yet facing the obstacles and with divine guidance, going through the dark tunnel until going into the light on the other side. Of turning fear into faith, of focusing on the positive aspects of life rather than on the negative. And now, life is way better than it was before. We can look back over the last year and we can see the progress in our bank account, in the amount of taxes we get to pay now, in the freedom we have to share our days the way we plan most of the time, and in how we create and plan for our life together, now and in the future. I am now even more inspired to explore the depths of who I am, what I'm capable of creating for my life and goals. Because while I thought I was focused and had direction of those things I intended to create, I've learned from him how better to face my own fear of success or failure. And I have even more faith of the divine within me, the God within you and me, that's always with us. So whether it's a personal project or guiding the growth of our beloved spiritual community, or inviting a guest speaker or a musician to this church, I can do it with absolute faith and trust that it will be exactly the right manifestation for the highest and best good of everyone involved. I invite you to do the same right now. Let me start by sharing part of an email I received this week from Reverend Dr. Eleanor Richard, in which she said, "The spiritual law of attraction says, what you continually think about, you attract, whether it's good or bad for you. So what you fear is equally in play as what you desire." In your programs, you also have a sample of a prayer treatment with some blank lines. This is where you get to choose what it is you truly want to focus on and create in your life. I encourage you to take this home. Meditate on it. Think about the principles that you would like to have manifest in your daily expression as you. Do you want to experience more love, joy, harmony, clarity, wellness, abundance, energy, or something else? This or something better, whatever that is. What is it that is already inside of you that would like to express through you, that's begging to be released and experienced as you? To help you along in this process, I also want to share a writing from another minister and author, Reverend Dr. David Alt, A-U-L-T. I like this particular writing because it brings in the freshness of creating. He's taken the season, the word spring, and uses it as an acronym to guide us as conscious creative creatures and beings. He writes, S is for sweep. Sweep up and throw away your excuses as to why you can't or won't do something. Stop being the one who merely comments on what is wrong and start being the one who offers the solutions. Of course I love that. Stay in the solution. Absolutely. P is for polish. Polish your heart with all its unwavering and steadfast passion, and allow it to lead you to unlimited ways of creatively expressing who you are and what you love. That might mean doing things differently than you've always done before. Asking for help, perhaps, from someone who's walked the path ahead of you. Learning new things. R is for rinse. Rinse away all of the self-doubt that has long coated your motivation and become willing to reacquaint yourself with a shiny, untarnished, and larger sense of self. So get prayer support. Take a look at the good you've accomplished in your life, all the challenges you've overcome. I know every one of you have done some amazing things with your life. Don't forget that. Remove and eliminate that self-doubt of what you're capable of. I is for increase. Increase your circle of influence with those who see the glass as half full, brimming with possibility, and who champion you to do the same. You have a circle of people right here. How many of you are willing to be champions for someone? Yeah. We can encourage one another, support them in their efforts, cheer them on. N is for neaten. Neaten your environment and create a sanctuary that is pleasing to the eye. You'll feel the difference both physically and emotionally. Now, if you've read the email newsletter lately, you know I've started that process in my office/warehouse. This week, 6 books of boxes left my office space for the upcoming book sale. What a difference it has made spiritually and visually. Neatness is starting to creep into other areas of my life. My desk, my home, my car, my consciousness. It's like a positive positive virus that heals as it goes. G is for groom. Groom your mind just as you would groom your physical self. Every day, look into the mirror of your being and adjust your thoughts. Brush away the negativity and begin to consciously apply the law of attraction for your good. You can read uplifting materials. You can write affirmations and post them around the house if you need to. Repeat them often. Get prayer support. We have a number of practitioners in this church. Utilize their services. Take advantage of that. Groom your mind. And if you want more of his blog, for Dr. David Alt's blog, I have the information. You can see me after the service. In the meantime, what do you want to create? Start with meditation and prayer to discover what it is that's already inside you, waiting to be revealed. It doesn't mean you have to throw everything else away that's gone before you. Maybe just put it on the shelf for a while. For example, my husband may sometimes decide to give up self-employment and go back to corporate life. Or something else altogether. Change is inevitable. Evolution happens. You can't stop it. But you don't have to fear it. Have faith for whatever you need to know is already within you, or you have the capability to learn. As this church grows and evolves, and it will, trust me, we may need to do things in a different way than we've done them in the past. In fact, I already see that happening in just the past 4 years through our virtual support and the technology that we now take advantage of, through the many ideas that are presented to resolve challenges, through the people who step up to lend a hand. And now as we start raising funds and planning and welcoming the idea of our own permanent space, change will happen. Change can be positive. We don't need to fear it. We just need to have faith that we're all working towards the same expansive outcome and for the highest and best good of this community and for ourselves every day. When we approach life and each other with kindness and compassion, with respect and care, we create a season of love, a season of us, expressing in unlimited, glorious ways. And we grow in consciousness, don't we? We grow in numbers. We grow in financial strength. We grow in physical space, just like we've done in the past year as we've outgrown our classroom and are now in a larger one. In a year. And we remove the clutter of our lives. I'm really excited to see what's going to show up through Spirit in the next year or so for this church, as you, as me. When it comes to making a change in your life or attracting something else you desire, imagine the possibilities, as many as you can, and then pick 2 or 3. See what leads you down the journey of greater unfoldment as you have the faith of God to guide you. It's right there inside you. Life wants to create through you as the marvelous and wonderful blessing, love, and light that you are. So let it. Let Spirit shine as you in every moment. It's our season. It's our time. Let's do it now. The practitioners, please come forward.